Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Timberborn. And we join our beavers of Oaken Wood in a really scary situation. The drought is bad, it's 94 days. They don't have a lot of water. The reservoirs are full, and yes, they're pumping it out, but there are over 200 beavers. And we do turn off the factories that make extract to stop adult beavers being born. There's nothing in the rules to stop us from doing that, but it's a very scary situation. I'm really not sure what's going to happen. This could be the end of our poor little beavers, but I promise you I'll do everything in my power not to let that happen, because we are doing the end game. We are going to be building the wonder in the next episode to try and win this run through. But again, I promise you, I promise that we will see this colony built. And if that's in a video that comes out of the blue when it's all built, and I'll take you guys on a tour of it, because you've been through this with me, and some of these builds have been crazy. Now, speaking of crazy builds, the insanity that was the last one that we worked on, which is about to pop up now. It's ugly. It doesn't work. The paths don't work. I am destroying it all. It is quite funny if you watch the highlight video for that episode. I'm just laughing at how delusional I was while building it on the long playthrough. And this has been a process for me on YouTube. This is my first series. I've never done this before, of making content, and playing something and creating content for it are two very different things, and you kind of lose sight of what you're doing. That colony, district, whatever you want to call it, had to be destroyed, and we're starting again. And now we're going to do it properly. We're working on the metro line, and the metro line that I've just built there is going to be where the district crossing comes in. And because the district crossing comes in here, we're going to make sure the beavers have everything that they need to be able to build: wood, planks, treated planks, metal blocks, dynamite, cogs. I think I even put grease in here for robots of the future. The fact is, everything that we need to import into this district has been put down here. So right now, we're putting in extract, and we're putting in water storage, and we've put in grease. And I think we put coffee in there as well. We've got no coffee plants at the moment, but I do hope to have that in the future. So that is been created in a nice little block down there. We also put a bit of food, like berries and other food items, to come in, just so when the beavers start building here, they have everything that they need coming through that district path. That is going to be buried in the middle of this build. The idea that we had in the previous one, I'm still going to try and do and keep it as contained as I possibly can. And it all started out with good intent. The build started out with an idea of creating this compact, easy to build block. And in good old Timberborn fashion on this channel, I go away from a permadeath sort of idea and build something insane, but it looks really cool by the end of this video of what we managed to do. Part of this is making sure the paths work. So having a metro system that runs around like arteries in a body, and having how water flows through here. If we're using the hydroponics to create algae and mushrooms, which is the point of this district, we need to make sure that water can flow easily. And here I'm just looking at these metro lines and starting to plan out how the beavers are going to get around here efficiently. And again, I run into some problems. Here I start going, okay, well, I want the water pumps on the edge. That means we'll have the hydroponics at the bottom. I thought, you know what? Let's make something crazy. This is the point here in the video. When you watch the long playthrough, this is the point where I snap. I can't help myself. I have to create something really insane. And dumb. And what I decide to do is go, okay, I've got that central block. I'm going to take water from the reservoir at the bottom, which will be 8 blocks down, and we're going to put some water pumps in. That water pump is going to then fill a pool, and from that pool, we're going to take it up another 8 blocks to the top of this district. Where at the top of this district, we will have the water pumps that will feed the tanks that the beavers will then be able to use in their farming. I know, I said I wouldn't do it again. I just can't help myself. When we do a proper permadeath run on the next series of this, when all the rules are in place and we build a map for it, I promise you, we're going to almost speedrun it. And I think that's the point of a permadeath. You've got to try and speedrun. And I think it would be quite fun to create some leaderboards on those maps that we create of who lived, who died, how well they did. And maybe it's something that you guys want to join in on and play along and beat me, or build your own map and set me a goal to beat you. And we could have a lot of fun with that. I think that'll be pretty good to do. But going back to this insanity, I'm putting in windows again. I'm putting in power chains and runs, working out how it's coming from the main district to here. And if you've watched this channel long enough, you know exactly where this is going now. This is just going to turn into something it's just going to turn into a huge monolith. This bit here bothered me because I couldn't fit it in. So what do? Is I delete the wall and then I force it to fit in. But it looks so good when it was done. We put the pump in the back there. I put some more windows in, look, to make that style, and it's just looking so good, and I can't wait to see it work. And I think that's the thing about this series, regardless if I live or die on it, I promise you I will run it in the background. I'm going to change the settings to easy, and I will get the beavers to finish all of this, and I'll do a video giving us a tour of if it worked and what it looks like. I think I owe you that at least. But now we're building the water trough on the upper level. This water trough will collect the water from the base level, and we have some floodgates because it will overflow. And that was how we're going to create our deck on the top level, to have water pumps filling up the large containers so the beavers can use it in their farming for the mushrooms and the algae that they're going to be producing from here. What I haven't done at the end of this video, which I still need to do, is actually create the food factories. I have no idea where they're going to fit in on this platform. But I also haven't worked out the housing yet. The houses have got to be worked out. All of that still needs to be done. Right now, we're just building this core monolith that's got all of the features that it needs to be able to work. Now, in order to be able to get it to work, I wanted the beavers to have a metro system. And the metro system is designed to get them around this district as efficiently as possible. And that's always really tricky to do because you have these pipes running forwards and backwards through the colony, and sometimes it's just easy to build a plate. And what I mean by that, if you see what I'm doing here, I'm creating this running line, and this was a fluke. It happened. I didn't mean to build a plate here. It's because the pumps got built too high for me to make it level. But it does help that I can put the power below the plate, and I can put the the metro tube under the plate as well. And that allows me to build a deck on top and have beavers running underneath the plate, power running underneath the plate, which we are going to need for the factories. And what did I call it? The pickleators. I can't remember what they're called. I call them the pickleator. And we build the metro on top of the platform, and now we've got a plate that allows that to run underneath, which is great. We're now putting in the water pumps up here, so you can see that we've got the large water pumps bringing in the water to the top plate, and now I'm just working out where I extract the water from that new pool, and then that leads into where it's all going to be stored. I had a real problem here of trying to work out how the metro system is going to work, and I had no choice but to build another layer up. I'm not happy about it. This is what I'm doing right here. It's really messy, but I don't have a choice because otherwise the path system isn't going to work up there. But it looks absolutely fantastic. I mean, just pause the video and take that in. It looks so cool, and I can't wait to see it all working. And it works, unlike the other design I did on the last video, which was an absolute mess. It was so bad. Here I'm trying to work out if I could put the district up there. I can't. There was no way to get the path down. I abandoned that effort, and I still need to work out where that district building is actually going to go. I haven't worked that out yet. So now we're working on the front because we need to put in the farms, and we also need to put in the storage areas for the mushrooms and the algae, and where that produce is going to be made. In order for me to do that, I wanted to bring the metro to the back of the colony, and right now it was on the front, so I had to destroy the pumps on top and rebuild it back up to be able to get the metro through the line to the back. It was the only way I could do it. In fact, I do need to check if that's watertight up there after I did it. I didn't do that. I don't know if there's a massive hole which water's just going to pour out of, but I'll do that on the next one. And here we managed to work out how to get the metro to the other side of the colony. So we have a metro at the front where all the resources are built in, and they can use it to get to the back. And the back's important because this is where all of the food is going to be grown. Luckily, and this was luck, I didn't plan this was just a happy coincidence that this worked, that we're able to put in the large storage for the mushrooms and for the processed mushrooms and algae, and also next to it we're able to start creating the levels and layers for our mushroom farm. This broke me on the last episode, and it kind of broke me on this one. When you build something like this and you stack it like it, you've got to create a staircase, and staircases are always really ugly. It's got better with the spiral staircases, but they're challenging, they're messy, they can be really inefficient. So I always like to run a metro line with it where they can choose what level to come off on and go into. It makes it more efficient, it makes it quicker for them to work up there. It's just more of a headache. I mean, if you look at this now with all of these paths, we'll take a look at it at the end of the video. It is a rat run, a 3D jigsaw puzzle maze, which is so intricate. You build something like this and you have no idea if it's going to work. It's quite good the developers put those little red lines on. They're red because they're really far away from the district. That district's coming from Oakenwood itself because that's where they're building it from. But when this turns into a district, they will go green and yellow and red. But it's a really good identifier to show that the paths are intact if you're doing this, and you can watch it run through the entire warren of paths in this single structure. It's just so tightly packed in, and you can see me building a staircase. I wanted to build one that looked good, that was clean, that from an architectural point of view looked really clean as well, and I was really happy with the result, that we got to every single level of the food processing and we got to the storage. And then we had a problem. I said on the video, and it's great because we can just keep building this up. But then I thought, hold on, where am I going to store the water? I've got no water storage here. So we've got all of these farms which need a lot of water and no storage. And so I capped off the buildings with those water butts and thought, well, hold on, how do I get the beavers to get water from the pumps to that water storage and get it to the farms? And this was a massive crossover point, which worked out really well. It was lucky that it did. Right there, I was able to connect to the water pumps at the back and connect them. And then with a little bit of a change on the front here, I was able to then connect those paths up to the water butts. So they got access to the water pumps, and now they've got access to the farms, and they've got access to the metro. So this whole block here, it's just looking so good. It's tight, it all works, it has everything that the colonies need to build, to survive. We've got water, we've got food in there, we've got wood, we've got iron. They've got metro that goes from the front to the back, that goes through like veins. We have power at the top. I haven't got power coming into it yet, but it's at the top and it's built under the plate. The next thing to do is to build the housing area for it, which I'm thinking I'm going to build to the left and right and have a gap of water. I'm pointing out there, that's where the district crossing will come through. And then we're going to look at building houses on the left and right of this. What I haven't put into this yet are the factories to actually make the food. I realized after I put those water butts up there, that's where the factories were going to go. And I don't want to cover up the pumps on the left and right because it looks like some steampunk spider. And I don't want to ruin that aesthetic, but it's got to work. And I don't know what to do if I'm going to change those water butts to food processing factories and put those water storage somewhere else. Maybe make a wing to the right off for them and hang them off the buildings. I don't know. But I'm going to work that out in the next episode. And in the next episode, we have enough research points to build the Repopulator. The end game for this colony is either they die of starvation or thirst, which right now is incredibly possible. I mean, we have got a long way to go in this. Or they build the monument and they get out of Dodge. But regardless what happens, we will see all of this built and work and do a follow-up video. But until then, take care of yourselves and see you in the next one.